Welcome everyone to our financial aid and scholarship workshop today. We want to welcome our featured guest and esteemed speaker, Carlene Morris from the Financial Aid Office. Carlene's worked with Haskell for many, many years. How long has it been, Carlene?
Since 03, I think 03. I'm an alum, so I got my education degree here at Haskell, and then went to teach on the reservation, and then came back and started working with Upward Bound.
Awesome, awesome. So we'll let Carlene take it away. If you want to just jot down your questions or put them in the chat if you don't feel comfortable speaking up, and save those till the end of Carlene's presentation, then we'll get all of those questions answered for you. Carlene, take it away.
All right. I got an agenda from Lori that she wanted me to address. I guess she took a poll from you guys, the students, and she has some areas that she wants me to hit, and Pell distribution was one of them. Have you all completed your FAFSA? All the ones that are on there? Yeah, you can do a thumbs up or whatever. Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad to hear it. I did have a student that called the other day, and with COVID, there's a lot of things that are going on with COVID. So we're doing a lot of professional judgments, special circumstances for students, because things have changed dramatically here for us, because you guys aren't here, you're out all over across the United States. So, and your expenses have changed also. So that was the big thing for us. Because of the Cares Act, and we can actually do the distance education without actually going through all the paperwork and the accreditation until it ends at the end of this semester on December the 31st. Then it ends. If the institution decides to move forward with continuing distance education, and if they don't extend the CARES Act, then we have to do some additional paperwork, and accreditation has to, HLC has to approve that. But for your Pell distribution, you can find that on the Haskell website, okay? We've already done the first, I had it here. We've already done the first disbursement, and we've already done the second disbursement. And I just submitted the third deadline today, which is on or before October the 16th. So we're getting ready for the fourth one, which the deadline is 30th. So you need to get that turned in, which is going to be, I will turn in the list on the 14th, and then it'll be dispersed. You usually get about 14 days before they actually disperse the funds, but they've been coming quicker. I don't know if you guys know that. If you do direct deposit, they've been coming a lot quicker than it used to. Because back in the day, let me tell you, it would take a month for the funds. But now that we've worked with the finance department and Western Virginia, what's happening, I don't know if you guys know this, is that finance sends the list up to Western Virginia, and they're actually the ones that are doing the direct deposit into your account. So that means that if they do it, it takes about a week, 7 days. So it gets into your account a lot quicker. If there is a hiccup, because there has been a few hiccups in the direct deposit, like we had a young man that used his girlfriend's bank account, and so the money went into his girlfriend's bank account, and he wanted to know. No, once it's out there, it's out there. He was going to have to deal with his girlfriend on that. The other thing is like, if your routing information, if there was a transpose number or something, then normally what happens is it'll get kicked back. If it can't go to that bank, it'll get kicked back. And then Steve will probably, or Jerry will probably reach out to that student to try to get the correct information, or they may end up saying, okay, we have to do a check. If they have to do a check for your Pell award, then I know that it's taking anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks, because everybody's teleworking from home, right? I know finance and even my staff. Myself, I'm in the office. I try to be in the office every day, but my staff is teleworking from home. And then finance, they're teleworking from home. They come in a couple of times. The mailroom, the same thing. So it's taking a lot longer for those checks to be mailed out. So if you can do direct deposit, I would say do direct deposit, okay? I also know some of the challenges to get their FAFSA completed, their financial aid file done, is the issues of the forms. Getting them signed, if you are V4, getting them notarized. The CARES Act waived the notary aspect for the spring semester, but they didn't for this fall semester. So students that have V4 or V5, they have to get a notary. They have to do that. The other thing that is a hiccup this year that the Department of Ed chose to do was add the non-tax filer form. So what that means is a student who is selected for verification that did not file taxes, or a parent that did not file taxes but did have income or even no income, they have to submit a form or do it online and request a non-tax filer form. So the Department of Ed is asking for the students to verify they did not file taxes. So that is adding another hiccup to the process of verification. I'm hopeful that it will go away. Nobody likes it. It's just being a hardship for the students or the parents, because that's just an added step to say, I didn't make enough money, or, I didn't need to file, the financial aid administrators across the nation are not liking this at all on any of the webinars. So hopefully we will get through it this one year, and then next year they won't do it again, but it could happen. I'm just telling you right now, when you do your FAFSA, the best thing for you to do is to use the IRS data retrieval tool, because that's what they're moving to. They are moving to all the information for your FAFSA they want to come from the IRS, basically. Those are the ones that check everything out, so that's what they're doing. And it'll make it easier. I think due to COVID is one of the reasons why they haven't moved that way, because we had thought they were going to move that way and it was going to be a requirement. But that would mean the IRS had to make some adjustments so that all students would be able to utilize the IRS data retrieval tool. But that can't happen for a student or a parent that has submitted an amended tax return. Now, I'm not a tax person, but I have to know quite a bit about taxes when it comes to that. That's the other hiccup, is if you did an amended tax return, then you can't use the tool. It just doesn't work. And if you are, if your parents are living together and not married, maybe they're common law, then you can't use the IRS data retrieval tool either. So I don't know how they're going to address that in the near future. But we are looking at that as we move forward. But when you talk about the Pell disbursement, you can see the link on there that she added there. You can go, it's on the website. We got it up there pretty quick this year, and you can access it. And all you have to do, you guys all know this, is go to the Haskell website, and it's under University Service, hit Financial Aid, and then it'll have the disbursement calendar in there. Okay. Now, the big thing is we have several students, and we're overwhelmed, and I'm happy and I am overwhelmed because of the fact that we have CARES Act money to give to the students. It's hard to give away money. It's hard. It's very hard, especially since they put all these different criteria and the regulations in play. I don't think that was their intention. I do not think their intention was to make us or the student have to jump through all these loopholes, but that's what they did. They wanted to help the students, but when they attached Title IV to the Cares Act, it made it a challenge, because then you have to be Title IV eligible. That doesn't mean you have to be Pell eligible. That means you have to be Title IV eligible, okay? And Title IV means like at any institution that you went to, if you were eligible for a loan, because we don't do loans at Haskell, if you were eligible for a loan, then you would be eligible for the CARES Act. One of the big things that they're looking at is you can't be in default, right? You have to be meeting satisfactory academic progress, right? You have to be registered with selective service for the men, right? And so those are the main criteria that they look at. And you can't be in default, you know, that's owing the government money and they don't want you to owe them money. So those are the big things with the CARES Act. You know, if, but on that note, even if you are, say, default or you're not registered with selective service, the administration is going to make sure that every student receives CARES Act monies, okay? I'm not sure how they're going to do it. They're pulling those funds out of a different funding stream, and I'm not sure when they're going to do it, but I do know that that's what they said on our conference call. They are going to make sure every student receives CARES Act funding. So right now, today, I'm doing it in batches. We have several students, I should say many, students that have not completed their FAFSA. One of the things I want you guys to know, and if you guys, Ron and Lori and Yosh, if you guys can help me, and Patty, she's on here too, if you can tell the students it's not too late to fill out their FAFSA. Some of them think it's too late. For us, we work with each student on an individual basis. It will not be too late for them to fill it out, even in the spring semester, you know, as long as they're eligible. I would say do it. It's going to be a little bit more work for us, but if it helps the students, my staff and myself, we're up for it. We want to be here to help the students complete their forms and get the CARES Act money and Title IV if they're eligible. Like I had a student, he didn't think he was going to be eligible for the Title IV funding, but after he filled it out, he didn't receive the full amount, but he received some. If you do it and you receive $500 a semester, isn't that going to help you guys a little bit? $500 is $500.
Yes, ma'am. It'll pay my bills. It'll pay a good chunk.
So that's what I say. And even if it's just $250 or whatever, you know, there are some different things we can do. The other thing that you might want to think about when it comes to Title IV funding is special circumstances. Because of COVID and because maybe jobs have ended and because of different situations, maybe medical or anything else, we can do a special circumstances. And you may be eligible for more funding, because one of the things is you're using 2018 tax information when you filled out the FAFSA this year, but we're in 2020. So the income that you had in 2018 may be different than what you have today, right? So if it is different and you made less money in 2018 or currently due to loss of job, medical, you know, whatever it might be, we can take a hard look at that and see if we can try to figure out if we can get you any more additional funding. Okay, it's additional paperwork. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because I'm going to ask a lot of you, but if it gets you 1,000, if it gets you an extra $500, sometimes I say it's worth it, you know, but that's up to you. You can choose to do it or not choose to do it. It's up to you. Okay. That's a little bit about Pell. Are there any questions concerning Pell, or do you want me to hold the questions till the end?
I'm sorry, whatever you're most comfortable with is fine.
It doesn't matter to me. If you guys want to wait and hold them, then I can come back to you. But if you want to ask, just jump right in and ask me the questions. Okay? That's
Okay.
the way my mind flows sometimes. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So the CARES Act will come out. So you should have gotten, if you guys got your first disbursement already, maybe the 380. If you haven't, let me know. Okay? All right.
I have it.
Okay, so there are some that we just got their FAFSAs in the system. Oh, and that's the other thing. I don't know what's going on with the internet. It might be everybody's on the internet these days. I don't know if it's overwhelmed or what, but some of the FAFSAs are getting stuck in internet land. So one of the things I think the students think is that we already know that you've done your FAFSA, but we don't know. When you submit it, say, Albert, you submitted your FAFSA, you get an email that says it was successfully submitted, correct?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
don't know that you submitted it until it comes into our system. If system, then we don't know that you have filled it out.
Yeah.
So the big thing for me is that if you want to check with us, if you have not heard from us, then you need to check with us. It's important because we don't get that email that says, Albert successfully submitted his FAFSA. We don't get that information. We just do it when we import. And I had a couple of students that called me the other day and said, we haven't heard anything from you. And they did theirs in July. And I didn't know that they had submitted it, right? So I had to go back out, look for it, and then re-import them into our system. Actually, I had to regenerate their FAFSAs because they were out there for so long. But let us know, you know, touch base with us, you know, send us an email and say, hey, I just want you to know that I finished my FAFSA on this day. That gives my staff and I a heads up that we should be looking for your FAFSA. That's happened a lot this year, and I don't know what the issue is. It could be several different things, but make sure you do that. I'm going to go back to the CARES Act. So you guys are going to get 3 disbursements. Your initial disbursement of 380. Then you're going to get another second disbursement, supposed to happen in November. Okay. And I'm not sure the amount. And then you're going to get another disbursement, which is the technology grant. So you're going to actually get 3 disbursements in total. And I'm not sure the amount on that. That all depends on the amount of funding we get and the number of students that it goes out to. Okay. So just know you should get 3. There's a lot of students out there that are saying, I don't know what this money's for. I've had parents call me and say, my son got this amount of money, and but I don't know if he can spend it. Well, yeah, it's his money, but it doesn't say Haskell Financial University. It says like Department of Ed or Department of Interior, you know. So you're able to spend that money at that time. Okay, so it's your money. Sarah, 400 in November is what was said last time. Okay, and you know what? That might be true. I don't know. I haven't heard the amount in my last meeting. They hadn't confirmed it. I know they were trying to shoot for that. It could be more, it could be less, depending on the students. Okay. So now we're going to talk about SAP because she wanted me to address W's and impact on your Pell. Okay. COVID's done a lot of things, okay, but in a normal situation, a W is reflected as a 0.0 GPA, okay? We in financial aid have to account all attempted hours. We don't get to drop them. Any of your remedial courses that you took prior are all calculated in your cumulative and your pace of progression, okay? So Just know that. You don't want to do a W if you don't have to, okay? Because it is added back in there and it goes towards your attempted hours. So if you are in a 2-year program, the math is a little bit easier there. You're in a 2-year program, it takes 60 credits to complete that program, right? The Department of Ed says that will give you up to 150%, which is an additional 30 credits, so 90 credits total to finish that 2-year program. Okay, that's the max that you will get to complete that, and that's counting all attempted hours. If you're a transfer student and they come in, if Lou transfers in credits, those are added in there also. It's whatever Lou decides to bring in, okay? But those W's that you take go toward that 90 credits, okay? So you don't want to take a lot of electives. I can give you a prime example. I have a student that has 1 more semester left, and he has Title IV eligibility left. He can receive Pell, however, he's met his 150%, right? And so he's not eligible unless he appeals, and the appeals committee decides to go ahead and extend him. However, when you get that far into your program of study and you get close to graduating, the only courses that I can pay you for or that are eligible to receive Title IV funding are the ones that are applicable to your program of study. Okay, so the big thing, what I'm seeing right now, and I'm not sure how we're taking a really hard look at this. I always say if there's one, there's more. There have been students that take too many electives. So you need, as students, to take control of your education. Look at that degree checklist. That's your map. That's your roadmap to get from point A to point B. If point B is a bachelor's, then when you take your break at your associates, you need to take a hard look at that and see how many credits have I used up. After you get your associate, that clock starts over again with 150%. So if it takes 120 credits to get your bachelor's, then you add what? Another 60 credits, so 180 is the total that the Department of Ed will allow you to take until you to get your bachelor's degree at that point. Okay, so if you pass the 180 or you get close to the 180, then I'm going to be reaching out to you and talking to you about that, because you just need to be careful on the classes that you take. I want you to have fun. I always, when back in the day when I was talking to my upward bound students, or even when I was teaching class, because I used to teach Vision Quest, that was what it was called before it became seminar. I used to talk to them and I say, you know, you want to take some hardcore courses, but you also want to take a fun course, something that you want to know, which will be applicable to your program of study. And you know you're going to have to take a physical education course. So maybe you want to take racquetball, or maybe you want to take ceramics, because those are going to be applicable to your program of study, right? But know that they all count toward that 60 or that 90 or that 180. So make sure you have that in your mind back here, that you can't go over that max, or we're going to be having a chat. Not that I don't mind you guys coming into our office, because I love seeing the students, but you know, I want you to be able to receive funding all the way till you walk across that stage and get your diploma. If you're a transfer student, sometimes students change their major. If you change your major, let us know. You know, that's not uncommon. It happens more than you think. And then we can take a hard look at it. There's some guidance on that to where we can give you guys a little bit more latitude if you change your major. I wouldn't change my major every year, but I would change it if you needed to, you know. I know there's some students that get into education program and then they go out and they observe and they decide that it's not for them. So they change their major, and that's okay. Or maybe you get into business and the business program, which is an excellent program, and you find out that that's not for you. You know, just let us know. And I think the best thing that I can tell you guys to do is communicate with us, see us, ask us those hard questions so we can give you those answers. Everybody's scenario is a little bit different. And the only way that we can help you guys is if you communicate with us and ask us those hard questions. If we don't know, we'll find out, you know. So that's a big thing for me. So don't do the W's unless you have to. The other thing I want to say before they change, I know that they allowed the students to do credit, no credit, okay? And this is something that you might want to take back to your students. And I don't say this lightly, but I'm looking at the best interest of the students when I do this. So I had a couple of students that they just struggled. They didn't have the internet, or maybe they were doing their work on their phone, right? I know some students that were doing their homework. I don't know how they did it, but they managed to do their homework on their phone, right? Well, they didn't pass and they failed their courses, right? So, and they failed them in the summer, or they failed them in the spring. And I don't know if there can be any grade changes anymore. I don't know the grade change deadline. Do you guys know that offhand?
I think it's passed.
Do you really?
It might have been Friday.
Yeah, it's passed for last summer. Yeah.
Okay, so what about for this fall? Has it passed?
No.
Okay, well, maybe you guys can appeal. That's what I would say. Appeal. I don't know if that's an option, but when I look at a student's transcript and I see that the student has failed these courses, for me in my mind, as a financial aid, and I used to be an advisor and help these students, I would tell those students to change it to no credit. I would tell those failing grades, those Fs that they received, and have them change it to no credit. Why would I? Because it's like it's not even there for the spring and the summer. You know, it doesn't count toward their graduation and it doesn't impact their GPA. It does stay with them because we do have to count it as PACE because it's an attempted hours, but we don't have to look at the GPA. It's not there. And I wish that was shared because I have a lot of students in that boat. And so some of them were placed on financial aid suspension. So you always need to look at, like, especially during this time. And I don't know if it's going to carry over credit, no credit. Have you guys heard carry over into this semester?
We don't have any information on whether or not they've carried that policy over from the spring or even the summer, because you would think it would be on the academic calendar if there was a deadline for credit, no credit. Patty, do you know?
No, I don't. I haven't heard if they're going to allow credit, no credit this semester.
Okay. I will find out because I still think it's a hardship for the students, and maybe they'll look at extending that, because I do know the Carex extended till the end of December. So that might be something that we want to look at. I'm not saying do that, and I'm not saying to go and do no credit for everything because you didn't get the grades you wanted, but I'm saying that you should take a hard look at it. Maybe meet with your retention specialist and talk it over and see what's best case scenario for you guys. But look at it, and hopefully it might be an option this semester too, because I do know there are some students that are struggling and that they're withdrawing from the course. If you've got to withdraw, withdraw. But just know that that W is a 0.0 GPA for that course. Okay. AICF, TCU, and the changes that we have. I was sharing with some of the students, I don't know if you heard, Patty, but we received our menu of all the scholarships and the monies that we can give away for the TCU scholarship, right? And then yesterday, I think it was yesterday, all my days run into each other. Yesterday, we got another menu and they gave us additional $13,000 to give away to our Haskell students. So we'll be able to award more students. However, with that caveat, I want to let you guys know something else. In the past, we have awarded all the students on the president's and dean's list out of the TCU, AICF TCU budget. We are no longer able to do that. We are working with the administration to figure out how we can award the students for the president's and dean's list. The reason I'm telling you this is I don't want it to be a shock. They've increased the minimum award from 500 to 750 per student. So now the minimum we can give a student is 750. So we do the math, we just don't have enough money. We don't. It's a great problem to have because that means it tells me we have all these students on the president's list and we have all these students on the dean's list. And that is a great problem. So, so we're looking at working with the president. He said, yeah, we're gonna reward these students, but it may not be like it was in the past, all right? However, with that being said, you will still get, because let me tell you what, let me give you this caveat. When I went to school here and I got the president's and the dean's list, whichever one, I got for the president and $50 for the deans. Just saying. So, and I was grateful. So I think anything that we can do, it puts a little bit of extra money in your pocket. I'm not sure what it will be, you know, and what the funding stream will be, but I know I'm working with the president to find those additional funds to reward the students that work so hard in the dean's list. Okay, just FYI on that. We don't want it to go away because we have some excellent students. But AICF and the changes, one of the things, I don't know if you guys have noticed, if you tried to get in and you tried to do your TCU application, right? Did you all do your applications?
Yes.
I was gonna say you guys did. Okay, so the big thing is that just like Full Circle, they're moving TCU to an application of once a year. That's it. You know, and so with Full Circle, if you receive the money in the fall and you meet the criteria again, you'll receive it in the spring semester, correct? So the same thing goes with the TCU now. They take one application and we award that student in the fall, and if they maintain the same criteria and they meet all the GPA guidelines and everything, they'll receive the other half of their funds in the spring. So you're going to get it. You're going to be awarded basically for the whole year, just like the Full Circle. The other caveat to that is that if you apply for Full Circle, because it comes open in the spring, correct? And there'll be some new dates coming out too. Then you don't have to apply for the TCU. They're going to use the same application for Full Circle for TCU. But if you don't apply for Full Circle, you have to make sure that you apply for the TCU in the fall. Is that clear? Clear as mud?
Yes, ma'am.
So remember that we'll have more come out on those, but that doesn't reflect all the special scholarships that will be given away also in the near future. Okay. Any questions concerning the TCU? No?
I do. It's been a while since I've been at school, and going through all this again, I'm not familiar. Okay, I did turn it in. It is with all these awards. Am I supposed to receive an email from financial aid, or do I have to go ahead and look and check into it?
Okay, so once we award the student and we put it into the database, you will be able to go back into American Indian College Fund like you logged in, you know, and check your status. Okay? You should be able to go back in there. We have to have all this information in the database for American Indian College Fund by the 15th. Okay, so after the 15th, if you want to give it to the 16th or even the 19th, go back in and look, and you should be able to see whether or not you are awarded any type of funds.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? All right.
I'm gonna try and make this question kind of broad.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ask about my situation, and I'm gonna try to make it. Well, I don't know if you remember you and I talking on the phone about my situation. When it and I kind of scrunched everything in a small time frame. When can I expect to know anything about it?
Okay, so when you're talking about Title IV funding, your Pell award, or basically that's what we're talking about, your Pell, right? Okay, so everything is taking a little bit longer than normal. I just want you guys to know that, and I appreciate your patience, all right? Everything has to be done on Zoom calls when we talk about it. You know, whenever we do anything, we have to get together on some type of social medium like this, Zoom, or we're using Teams too with scholarships to try to meet and make our determinations longer. If you guys have questions, call, email me. Email is tough for me because I'm just telling you, I cannot keep up with the emails. I can check one and I'm getting 5 for every one that I check. So if I don't get right back to you, it's because another email came in and I'm trying to check it. And I try to do them in order. So I'll go back to the end of the bottom and go up, and Kelly and Tina will try to help. If you guys use FA Office, unless it's specific question for me, if you use FA Office at haskell.edu, then it will go to myself, Kelly, and Tina. Okay, we'll all get it. So like today, Kelly was out at a doctor's appointment and Tina was out of town. So I'm here and I can see it. Okay, maybe next week when I'm off, it'll go to FA Office. And if I'm not in the office, Kelly or Tina will be able to see it. So that's the best way to get in touch with us, because it's not just coming to one person. When you send it to just one person, and sometimes you may have to, like for special circumstances, dependency override, those types of things, you may have to send it to one person. But if you don't have to and you feel comfortable enough to send it to FA Office, I would say do that, because not only Kelly and Tina, they will also print out your forms and put it in your file, and they'll bring it to my attention, you know, if I need to see it. Okay, that's the best way to do that. So with your situation, I'm just telling you guys, when we get the documents in, we send, first, I'm gonna step back. We send you out documents, right, to complete. Once we get your file started, we received your FAFSA, your ICER for us here, and we send you out the documents. Then it goes into pending. Then we wait for you to respond back with those documents. Okay, once those documents come in, we put them into check-in and somebody reviews it, whether it's me, whether it's Kelly, whether it's Tina, and we make sure that those are correct. If they are correct and accurate, then they go into final review for me to budget and package. And at that point, if everything is accurate, that's when I send you out your award, okay? However, I want you to know that you're not the only student, right? And sometimes I I bet I have a drawer and a half now of students that I need to do in final review, or I need to make a dependency override, or special circumstances. Okay, there are some things that only I can do at this point. So just be patient. I will get to you, but I do not mind if you guys call to check on your status. I don't. So feel free to call and check up anytime. I think it's a lot easier for me to do that than it is to get back to the email sometimes, but I will try to get back to every email. If I don't, Kelly will, or Tina will, okay, if you do FA office. All right. So that's the big thing. Did I answer your question? If you have more questions, Albert, you can call me and we can.
I will.
We can discuss it. Okay. Where to find scholarships? Everywhere. Everywhere. There is no place that you cannot look. Everybody, I'm just saying, if you want to cut your costs in half, if you want to have additional funding come in, when you apply for scholarships, first and foremost, it takes work. It's not something that's handed to you. You have to go out there and look for it. And one of the things I would say, you guys are all here. If you went out and looked, just Googled one scholarship, right? Say it's American Indian Services, right? Or American Indian Graduates Center, or even, I don't know, some are eligible for COBEL, but say American Indian Services. Say, Albert, you did American Indian Services, and Sarah did American Indian Graduate Center, and then Raylene, she did Tylenol, or somebody did Walmart. If you all brought those to the table, you went out and found the information, and if you guys had a blog or a place that they could store those scholarships, Albert could go in there and say, look, I found this scholarship. It may be good for somebody. Here's the link. Boom. Sarah may say, hey, I found this other scholarship over here for Tylenol. Boom, here's the link. It's not only going to be good for Sarah or Albert, it could be good for your whole crew, depending on the criteria. So if you work in a team, not only are you getting that one scholarship, but you may get 5 more to look at. So work smarter, not harder, right? Okay, so that's the big thing. Share that news. Share it with your student friends, or, you know, like I said, Yosh, it might be something, Lori, might be something that you guys want to think about, having some kind of area where they can put the scholarships up. I found that. The other thing I want to tell you is I've gone to Barnes and Nobles or whatever, and they have a scholarship book. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to purchase one or anything, but it's probably 3 inches thick of scholarships that you guys can look at. If you look online and you Google scholarships, I bet you everyone, McDonald's, Tylenol, all these people have scholarships. You just have to look for them. And you've got to want to, because it's going to take work. So one of the things I would challenge you guys to do is to set aside Monday at 2 o'clock. I'm going to spend from 2 to 3 looking for scholarships. And I'm going to apply for one, right? Send it in. I sent one out not too long ago, Mr. Prue. If I find them, then I'll send them out to the Haskell email. And I sent one out not too long ago. Mr. Prue sent it out. I haven't had much time to look at scholarships, but I'll try really hard. Maybe I can have my student worker look at those and start sharing some more scholarships with you guys. It just takes time and it takes work, but you can do it, because I know that I can't even remember where I found this one. When I was going to school back in the day, I did one on law enforcement, right? And I'm not even in law enforcement, right? But it had $1,000 with it, right? So we're in college, right? And we all can write. So they asked us essay questions. So I thought, okay, why not? You know, why not fill it out? So I filled it out, did the essay, submitted it, and I got it, right? So law enforcement's not even something, not even my field of study, but we all can write and we can all answer a question. We're smart, intelligent people, native people, in fact, so we can do this. So there are a lot of things out there. When you guys look at scholarships, they're not all singles, they're videos. Yosh is great at videos. So if you needed to do a video, I think there was one I saw that was like $10,000, and everybody wants to go for those big dollar ones, but it's $10,000. And instead of doing the essay, you had to videotape yourself answering these questions and then submit it. That's not hard. You've got an expert right here that can help you with that. You know, so there are jingles, there are all kinds of stuff, and there's some just for books, there's some for housing, they're all over the place. You know, I used to put whole packets together for the students, and I mean, they'd be out, but it would take a lot of paper. So digital scholarships are probably the next wave that I'm going to be looking at. I'm old school, let me tell you, I'm really old school, because when I went to school, we used technology, let me tell you. But when I went to school and I started school here, I was still a paper and pencil person. I wrote down my essays and then I typed them all out. So I'm just telling you, I've grown a lot since then, because now I can sit at the computer and type my questions and everything. But I just wanted to let you guys know that there are tons and tons of scholarships. And Lori, maybe I'll just put you guys on the emails in the future when I send them over to Mr. Prue, so that you can share them with your students. But I also would challenge you guys, like I said, look for those scholarships out there and share them with each other. Create a scholarship blog or someplace that you can post those so that you can share them with each other, because that's how you guys are going to get additional scholarship monies and apply. You know, don't say that you can't get it, because you never know unless you try. And the other thing is you're not eligible for it, then maybe somebody in your group is. You may find a scholarship that you may not be eligible. Maybe it's for a mother, maybe it's for a male, you know, maybe it's for somebody from a certain tribe. And the other thing I would tell you is that when you look at scholarships, sometimes we're not just one race. We may be Native and Hispanic or Latino. We may be African American and Native. So look at both. Look at them both, you know, and see if you can find a scholarship there. You know, I think you guys can do it. I think you guys are up for the challenge. Look what you're doing right now. You're working from home and you're doing great things. And, you know, who would have ever thought this would have happened in the United States? But here we are yet today. So give yourself a round of applause, because you guys are making it work, and you guys are doing great things, and you're going to knock it out of the park. I believe in you. If you need anything from me, let me know. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Do you guys have any more questions? Did I cover everything? Everything's probably like muddy water, but hey.
Cleared up enough to make a mess. When does the financial, when are you available? To what time to what time?
Well, normally my working hours are 7 in the morning. I'm an early riser. Sometimes it's 6, but normally I'm 7 to 7 these days. But if you need to do later or earlier, just let me know, because I'm up at 4:30 in the morning and then I probably don't go to bed till 11 or midnight. So,
Yeah.
so I try to work with the students as much as possible. Let me know, but we can schedule an appointment. So anytime within that time frame, I'm good, you know,
Okay.
and we can go from there. All right. Do you guys have any questions?
Carlene, I just wanted to see if you knew what information that students can look at in the student portal with regard to their awards? Are they able to see their awards or see where the
Um,
status of it is at? I know I've had a lot of questions about, like I had one student that saw nothing, but I guess that didn't mean anything, or
Well, let me tell you what, I wasn't even aware that the student portal was open for finance or student sent me a screenshot. We were talking on the phone. She goes, no, here, look. So then I saw, okay, we're in there. Well, see what happened? This is what I talked to Lou and I said, what happened? We weren't supposed to be up and running yet. She goes, you're not really. They had to open the student portal so the students could enroll, right? And we had a small window. So they opened the entire thing. However, finance and financial aid are not fully functional. You cannot get your forms in there. You cannot accept your awards. I'm getting calls from students. I can't accept it, won't let me click on it. It's because it's not fully functional. Okay. We're working on that, and hopefully in the near future, that's where we want to be. But currently, you can't accept your awards. However, you can see in the student portal, you can click on the financial aid. You can see any award that is being processed, right? You can see that if it's in pending mode, if it's approved. Okay, what I tell the students when they call in, if it's approved on our side, say you got the TCU scholarship and we're going to put it in the system, right? And it's pending right now, but we're going to approve it. Okay, once it's approved, then I would go to finance tab and look at your ledger. I think it's called My Ledger in there, right guys? I haven't seen it, but I just had pictures. So you're going to look at My Ledger and you're going to be able to see in there when it was refunded to the students. So if you got a tribal award also, Kelly's going to approve it. She's going to put it in process, then she's going to approve it, right? Transfer it to finance. Finance is then going to put it into your ledger, into your account, right? And in My Ledger, you may see it as a credit, and then you're going to see another line that says refund to student. And at that point, you'll know when it's refunded to the student, to you. Those are the things that you can see. You can also print off your transcript, which is kind of a little bit of craziness, but you can look at it. An unofficial schedule, I think you guys could do that in there. But I know we're going to try to have some training on it, so I'll keep you guys in the loop if you guys want to be in on that training of the student portal, because right now I don't have access to see what the students see. That's what I want to be able to see. When a student calls in, I want to be able to see what they can see. We can't change anything. I just want to be able to see it and help them. So those are a few things that you can do in the system. But I'd go in there just like any new technology, click around, click, because you guys are going to know more than I do here pretty soon. So click around and see what you can see.
that's awesome. That's good information.
Okay.
You see in the chat that there was a question about the ledger.
No, let's see. Oh, are the numbers in zero, positive, or negative in the ledger?
I think
I don't know. What?
parentheses.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
If the numbers are in parentheses, are they positive or negative?
Oh, okay. It's backwards in the ledger,
Okay.
just so you guys know. For me, it's like if it's a negative, it's supposed to be in parentheses, right? But I think it's a positive.
Okay.
So you have your credits and your debits. It drives me a little bit crazy when I start looking at that. But yeah, because they're saying they'll refund it to you, you know, and then that's in parentheses, and you're thinking, okay, what is this? So, but yeah, look at it. If you have questions about it, now I know people have been saying it's hard to get in touch with the bursar's office. We leave them voicemails, but they're not getting back to us. We've emailed them, it's getting back to, well, let me tell you what, they're just like us. They're doing the best they can in the situation, and they're teleworking from home too. keep trying, be patient, and keep sending them your questions. That's what I tell the students. I've had one today. She goes, Carlene, I haven't heard back from you. I'm sending this again. I said, thank you for the reminder, you know, and I'll try to get back to her. But it's hard because we're getting inundated with emails. You know, take the 742 students that send emails, right? That 742 students times however many emails you guys send a day, right? So that's a lot. So just remember that, and just be patient, just keep trying. So 0 negative, what? That's what I thought. Our student fee is going to be $715 next semester. You know what? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if we're going to be on ground or online. You know, there's so many unknowns. I have to tell you, though, that I am pretty proud of our president. It may be a challenge for you guys to be online, but I think he made the right decision for us to go online. Because if you are looking at any of the news report of the different colleges that have brought back students and the challenges that are coming up with, even our KU here at home or Washburn, you know, even our high schools, you know, there are so many people that are getting sick. And one loss of life is too many in my book, you know, and we know that it's impacting our family and then our extended family, which are the students. You know, we know that it's impacting you guys. So I'm glad he made the decision to go online. It has been a challenge. I'm not going to say that it hasn't, but you know what? We're Native people, we're strong, and we've been through worse, and we will get through this. So
Yes, ma'am.
that's what I look at. You know, this is a bump in the road. We got to make the best of it. And I would always say, be looking at what you have, be grateful for what you have, you know, and that's my biggest thing right there. So help those kiddos at home that are in elementary school, you know, that are trying to do their homework if you can, because I know it's got to be tough for them too, you know.
Well, awesome. It looks like we're out of time. Thank you so much, Carlene, for coming and giving us all this great information. Yay!
Well, I hope it was clear enough. I jumped around, so it's like muddy water sometimes because I don't have some definite answers. I wish I had answers for you guys, but as far as the CARES Act and everything going, there are things that I don't know. You know, I don't have all the answers, but I will find out. I'll find out about the credit, no credit, and I'll find out if there's any more information on web online. And I'm sure that the administration will share with you the information as soon as they've made their decision. And if you need anything from me, you know where I'll be. Reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you any way I can, because that's why we're here. We're here to help you guys, because just remember, I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for you guys. So that's why I'm here. I'm truly blessed to be working in Haskell. I always thank my lucky stars for that.
Well, I thank you again. And if anybody needs anything, be sure and email Carlene. I put the email address that she gave us in the chat. And if you need anything else, please reach out to Ron or I. We would be happy to help you with anything as well. Okay? So it's good to see everybody.
Donadell, go on in until we meet again.
Nice to see you guys.
See you guys. Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlene.